man that we love talking to. A man who might be on pace to win the defensive MVP this year with how he started in his brand new home. Ladies and gentlemen, two-time Super Bowl champion, a man who has an incredible haircut that is much deeper than just the hair that's on his head.
That's right.
He's a future GM, future Hall of Famer, Von Miller.
Yeah! Hey, I appreciate y'all having me, man. Having me back on the show. Coach Pagano and, John and Chuck, man, I love those guys. It was a great breakdown. Pat, I appreciate you for having me back on the show. We might as well make this a residency, man, and have me on here every single week, man. I'm all for it. I know we talked about it in training camp. I'm happy to be back, man. I love this play.
Are we getting Von Miller every week?
Von Miller Thursday.
Von Miller every week. Hey! All right, we'll figure that out. We'll definitely figure that out because if you are to be on our show every week, that is a big fucking deal, and we are very thankful for it, as we are thankful that you joined us today. Now, the start with Buffalo has obviously been fantastic. Your haircut, though, ends up on Come On Man. I see you put a tweet out about what that's all about. It feels like you're an incredibly deep-thinking dude, huh? Like, have you always been that way, you think, or has sports kind of got you here?
I've had this haircut for about 8 years now, and, whenever your hair grows, honestly, it's really the only place where my hair grows. So I got to line it up and make it look nice. The triangle has deeper meaning to it. I'm all about positive energy. I'm all about manifestation. That's why I'm here in Buffalo. And it all just kind of went together. The haircut kind of really just chose me. And I'm appreciative of it. Guys here in Bill's Mafia, they're getting a haircut, man. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Go ahead, AJ.
Bon, what was it like your first time in Buffalo, putting the uniform on for a regular season game? You have an impact instantly, like sack first series. Like you talk to some of the boys. I was actually in Indy last week watching a lot of the tape with them, making them run back all your rushes, even when they got rid of the ball. Like you had a million good, really, really good rushes. Like, was that what you expected to get out that fast of a start?
Whenever they drop the schedule, I always envisioned success. I didn't know what that would look like, but I never really had thoughts about going there and losing or going there and being disappointed. I thought about seeing Aaron Donald and Coach McVay and getting everybody hugs and stuff. I never thought about us losing the game, and just because I think in that manner doesn't mean it to go that way, but. We started the game off, and everything happened exactly like I thought it would. Everybody was on fire. Josh Allen was just killing, to start the game. But it was kind of weird being in there. Right when I walked onto the field, I'm warming up at my spot that I usually warm up in, and that's on the wrong side of the field. So somebody had to tap me, like, hey, like, over there now. That's when it really hit me, like, dang, I'm really on the opposite side. But so far, it's always been love. That is the best stadium in our league. We won a Super Bowl there. All the vibes are always great there. All the celebrities were out there. LeBron James, Dr. Dre, countless actors. Man, it's a great environment to play in, and we had fun for sure.
Hey, I saw OBJ there was watching for who he's going to play for. You know what I mean? Like and you guys won. So congratulations.
Hey, that's what he said.
That's what he said. No, you got off to a great start, and I think I have become a massive fan of yours, not just because. You come on this show and give us a great conversation, which you are, and we're very appreciative of that, not just because you're good at what you do, but we talked to Andrew Whitworth last week, and I think everybody says this that's ever played alongside you. It's like, hey, he is a positive force in the locker room about making people better. And it feels like the Buffalo Bills, I think their social media account put a video out of you getting dressed for the first time and what it was like, and they're promoting you. And in some locker rooms, especially a locker room that's been together for a long time, #1 defense in the NFL last year, you get added into that, and you're also this outgoing good. How has it been getting adjusted? And was it just seamless whenever you got in there because everybody's on the same page, or did you have to kind of feel it out a little bit, Von?
I've been playing football for so long. I've been playing football since the 5th grade. That's kind of my place where I kind of grew into my own, where I evolved into, this person now. I enjoy being in the locker room. In Texas A&M, Coach Sherman, he put me right by the music. We had this little DJ port, and he put me right by the music. And I was always the guy to play music, all different types of genres to bring everybody together. When I went to Denver,
a lot of responsibility on that.
Yeah, it is. I had everybody over to my crib, and I've always been a team guy. It doesn't matter if it's the Pro Bowl. It doesn't matter if I'm getting traded to the Rams. It doesn't matter me being here with the Buffalo Bills. I've always been a team guy. I've always tried to figure out, how can I make my teammates better? How could I make, my coach's job easier? How could I make my teammates' job easier? And, that's just the world that I've been living in my whole entire life. So when you come into a locker room like this with so many leaders, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Tremaine Edmonds, and Josh Allen and Diggs, and all of these guys, man, and you just kind of fit in with the culture, and you just kind of blend in with the foundation that they've already built. So it's been a joy being here, and it's always great to go out there and have success for sure.
Hell yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why have you always been a team guy? Is that something like family members or your parents or someone instilled in you? Because being an outside rusher too, like a lot of outside rushers, like, hey man, whatever happens, as long as I get a sack or two, I'm okay.
The rush and coverage go together. The rush and coverage go together. Exactly. You always need somebody to help you out. No matter how fast I get there, if the coverage is not good, they throw the ball quick. So I've always been a team guy. I've always tried to, figure out how can I help these guys so they can help me. And I think it started with me and my little brother. My little brother Vince, he's 2 years younger than me, and we never got in trouble for anything. I could get in trouble for talking in class, being a class clown, all of that stuff. We got in trouble for fighting each other. We got in trouble for, getting into it with each other, arguing with each other, and I think that's where it developed for me. Like, hey, let me figure out our relationship so we won't get in trouble, and I think that just bled over to my my other brotherhood as well.
Everybody loves you that plays alongside you, man. That's a huge honor. I think that means more than anything you could ever accomplish on the field, but I love hearing that mindset, especially from a guy who's going to be in the fucking Hall of Fame. Darius, your question for Vaughn.
Right. Speaking of that Hall of Fame career you putting together, you say you started playing football back in 5th grade. I'm interested to know, because I know as a coach, I wouldn't be putting you at just DN. What other positions did you play growing up?
My very first position was quarterback, and I always thought that I was going to be this quarterback, this drop back quarterback that could make all the throws and stuff. And slowly but surely, I kind of transitioned from quarterback to running back to safety to inside linebacker to outside linebacker to you just rush the passer. It just happened. Each and every year I was playing a different position, and it just happened. That's why I always I'm always watching the quarterbacks, and I'm always I feel like I can see and I can feel great quarterbacks. That's why being here with Josh Allen and being with Matthew Stafford and being with Peyton Manning and all these guys. I've been around quarterbacks my whole entire career. Ryan Tannehill, we're getting ready to play these guys, and I just knew from the get-go that Ryan Tannehill was going to be great because I always felt like, I'm a quarterback at heart, and I guess it's why I rush the passer the way I do, man. I always feel like I'm a quarterback at heart, man, and that's where it all started for me.
What's next for you guys? What do you got on deck here? Where are we at in the schedule? I know you guys got Monday Night Football against the Titans. What do you guys got today?
Oh, we just had this was our pass rush day, and we were out there going over third down, short yardage and stuff. It's a fun day. It's a fun day for all of these guys, man. Getting out there with Jordan Phillips and Greg Rousseau and AJ Espinosa and I mispronounce his name every time with AJ. And,
yeah, you're an asshole. Good teammate, huh?
All these guys, man. Being out here with all these guys on pass rush day, that's where we really come to life. That's where we really hang our hat on rushing the passer. So it was a fun day for us today.
What year is this for you?
This is year 12, but it honestly does not feel like it. It does not feel like year 12. To be honest, the only time it feels like year 12 is when I'm in the locker room and I hear like the jokes that the young guys make, and when I see their perspective, versus my perspective. That's the only time where I really feel like age. But when it comes to working out, running, watching film, all of this stuff, I just feel like I'm stuck in 2016, to be honest.
Do you have the aux in the Buffalo Bills locker room as well? And with these young guys?
Yeah, I'm the designated DJ.
Oh, that's wow. Hey, that's a big deal. Yeah, right. Going into an already made defense.
I play all type of genres, man. To be a great DJ, you got to be able to look at the crowd, and you got to be able to relate to everybody there. Whether that's this guy from Nebraska or this guy from New York or wherever these people come from, you got to be able to relate to the crowd. So I mix up a lot of stuff to keep everybody happy.
Long neck ice cold beer that broke my heart. Any Luke Combs on that? Yeah, you getting Luke Combs on the play or no?
I play all type of country music for sure. Chris Stapleton, like you said, Luke Combs. Ain't Worth the Whiskey. That's my guy. Cole Swindle. Yeah, that's Cole Swindle. I love Cole Swindle, man. I'm from Texas A&M. Like you gotta love country to be at Texas A&M. Sure.
Sorry, buddy. You guys lost game day last week.
Yikes!
Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Go ahead, AJ. Your question for Vaughn.
Vaughn, when any of these young pass rushers that just come into the league ask you for advice or how many moves they should have, is there anything you tell them specifically? I know Kevin Green, the guy who's in the Hall of Fame. He was the outside backers coach in Green Bay for a while. he always told guys when they were young, like, hey, you perfect a move, like perfect one move, and then work a counter off of that. And then once you do that, we'll go from there. Like, is there a number of moves that you're always working on, or how's that work?
100%. That is true. I always tell the guys, what got you here to this point is going to take you to the next level. You just got to find a way to make it perfect. You got to find a way to evolve that. You can't take a power rusher and make them, a speed rusher. You just got to see what they do best, and you got to perfect the counter off of that, just like you said, and, you go from there. But the way I go about teaching the young pass rushers is I'm an open book. I really like to talk about mindset, going to the games, what I'm looking at, situational football, and that's where I feel like we get the most mileage because pass rushers come in all shapes, sizes, weights, and all different backgrounds. I like to talk about the mindset, what I'm thinking about, what I'm looking at, and that really gets the most mileage. And we had a pass rush summit each and every year, and I bring out all of these pass rushers, and if we can get one or two things from all these guys, it's a success. Whether that's being in a three-point stance, whether that's being in a two-point stance, outside foot up, inside foot up, whether that's a spin, a dip, or speed to power, whatever that may be, it's a place where we can come together and really sharpen the knife. And, being around all these great guys, I'm a firm believer in iron sharpens iron.
I was so lucky to be on a team that had Freeney and Mathis, and John Tierlink was the coach, JT, like legendary pass rush coach and D-line coach. And watching them work and what they were working on, and then listening to them talk about how, hey, this is a chess game right now. Like, we are setting things up for later in the game. We are making this happen, knowing we're not going to get to the quarterback, but maybe 3 situations from now that is going to do. And it took me back to Thursday. That's why I started smiling whenever you start talking about what your mindset is going in the game. Because I don't know if you got to watch the game back or not. Rookie left tackle had you locked up on one play. I think you tried to speed. I think he got you. And they were zoomed in on him on the next play. And they're like, he's going to be just fine in this league. And you hit him with a fucking bull and just ran him right into Stafford. And I was like, oh, that's the rookie not knowing, like, okay, yeah, Vaughn probably let you win that one. Like, that is probably one that he let you have for a setup. Is that happening every play, every game? Like, how do you set up a whole story of what you're going to do basically to a guy in that one-on-one matchup all game?
No boom definitely got the best of me on that play. But, I have so much respect for offensive linemen. At first when you come into the league, I hate these guys, this and that. But as you get to evolve and you get to you have more appreciation for the game. I respect the offensive linemen. They have such a hard job. They have to be perfect all game. And if they slip up one time, that could be the play to change the game. And I always like to talk about the game within the game. If I rush this way and it stopped, then I'm going to try something else, and I'm going to keep trying. And I'm going to keep trying to find a way to get back there. And, I just got to get there 1 or 2 times. But if I had it my way, I would beat the guy every single play. Like, they pay these guys too. They pay these guys too. They're going to win some reps. But fortunately for my position, I just got to get there 3 or 4 times, get a sack, force fumble, try to change the game, and I'm in a good position to be a pass rusher.
Yeah, get 4 sacks a fucking game this year.
Hey,
if you don't, it's going to be a disappointment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, man. Maybe don't even look in a mirror for a year or so. You don't get 4 sacks a game this year. That'd be wild. I mean, you're on pace to have your best year yet. I mean, you were shot out of a cannon week 1. Now, I've looked at every single season you've ever had. You looked fucking great. And that defense, I think, it's going to be amazing. They're going to be thankful. Go ahead, Ty Schmidt.
Yeah, Vaughn, speaking of being shot out of a cannon, we were talking a little bit about with, being back at SoFi, opening kickoff of the NFL season on the banner night and everything. Like, did that give you any more juice at all? Or, you've already won a Super Bowl. You obviously are a future Hall of Famer. Like, do you take anything else from that, or was that just kind of hey, this is the first game of the season, like I'm going to be ready to go no matter what?
Yeah, I think that's where it was at. I went to the Rams ring ceremony, and that was honestly my last day on the team. And I told myself whenever I got to Buffalo and training camp that I was going to let all that stuff go. It took some time. Honestly, I missed LA for a long time. I still miss LA, and I still have so much love for LA. But when I went to SoFi, it was all about my guys. It was all about, being with my guys. One of my guys joked about, am I going to go out there for the unveiling of the banner? I'm like, no, I'm here with you guys. I'm trying to build something with you guys. I'm trying to do the same thing that we did with the Rams with you guys. And you just compartmentalize, those emotions, and you focus on the task at hand, and you focus on, helping your teammates out. You focus on getting sacks, making plays, and all the other stuff, it just goes out the window. I still love all those guys. I miss those guys dearly. Raheem Morris and Jalen and Aaron Donald, man. it was a great time being in LA. Every single day was like the Pro Bowl. You know, working with Coach McVay and being in that schedule. You know, it's very vet friendly, man. I love LA and I always love LA.
Hey, there's a lot of Bills Mafia in that crowd. Stafford had
Yeah,
to go on a silent count in his own on a banner night. Banner night.
Wild.
I think you experiencing Bills Mafia all season is going to be awesome to watch. I don't know if you heard or not. AJ told Stephon Diggs that if he punts a Bildo into the stands, he'll donate $50,000 to a charity. So keep your eyes peeled out there for flying Bildos. Tone Diggs, last question here for Von Miller.
Vaughn, I don't know if you saw Sunday Night Football. Micah Parsons was starting to eat off the edge, and Tampa counteracted with him getting chipped while he was engaged with the tackle. I don't know if you saw that or not. How do you feel about that play, being an edge rusher, engaged with a tackle, and then having a running back or someone just get a clean shot on you?
You know, I actually commented on that play, and I said that this block should be taken out of the game. And I felt that way because, over time you start to, especially being 12 years in the league, it's all type of ways to get the job done. And I'm sure guys in the offense will be like, man, this and that, or it's just a chip block. But you're paying these marquee guys. By the time Micah Parsons getting ready for his contract, you'll be paying him $55 million a year. Why would you let a running back just go out here and clean his clock? And honestly, this is the only play in football where you get to tee off on a guy that's not looking. You can get that same block accomplished just by using your hands or just staying in the way. You don't have to go clean this guy up. And it really hits home for me because I tore my ACL on a play like that. I tore my ACL. A guy chipped me on my left side, put my right leg down, and I tore my ACL. And you see plays like this each and every year. The one play that really gets me is where they start the tight end on the opposite side of the field, and they motion them over to the other side of the field where you're at, outside the number, and they bring him in right before the snap count, and he just cleans you up from the outside. And you can get all of these plays. You can get the job done without cleaning the clock. It's just like having an interception. You get an interception, sudden change, and you just can't go tee off on a guy that's not looking. Now you can kind of butt block the guy and kind of shield the guy and get in his way. But to go over there and clean up the guy, it's just a play that I feel like that should be taken out of the game. And the NFL is always talking about player safety, this and that. And we can't even land on a quarterback after we tackle him. And I'm all for that. I understand the points on that. But it should go both ways, and they should take care of it. These marquee pass rushers, the J.J. Watts, the T.J. Watts, the Micah Parsons, the Chandler Jones, you got to take care of all of these guys because we're all about making our league safer, and I think that should be included in the conversation for sure.
Hey, that might change something right
Yeah,
there.
here we
That
go.
speech you just gave might change something, honestly. Because I think you talking about it means a lot more than anybody else talking about it, because I don't think you're saying in an emotional standpoint that this rule needs to change. You just pointed out some obvious hypocritical situations. Because back in the day, after a pick, who do you get? Wide receiver targeted, and who else? Quarterback. Yeah. And what do? Oh, okay. We got a shot at the quarterback, and we got a shot at the wide receiver. And they're like, we can't do that anymore. They were able to change it. What you're saying is, same exact situation here, able to accomplish the same task without having to just demolish somebody, basically what you're saying.
I'm not saying take the chip block out of football. That's ridiculous. But the way you go about it, it can be done without that much contact. It can be done without decking the guy on his shoulder and just cleaning his clock and doing all of this stuff. It could be done without that. You could just get in the way of the guy. You can hand check the guy. Mission accomplished. All you're really trying to do is slow the guy down long enough for the quarterback to throw the ball. And if the guy's not looking, if you hand check him, you still get the job done. You just don't have to clean his clock. And if the guy's on the line of scrimmage, say if it's a tight end that's lining up outside the pass rusher, just hand check him. You don't have to clean his clock. You can get the job done without going overboard. And that's just all it is. I'm not saying take the chip block out or this and that. Obviously, it's always going to be football, but we can take some of the dangerous levels of contact out of the sport by just not teeing off on our marquee pass rush.
Hell yeah. Woo! Let's do it. I appreciate the hell out of you, man. Enjoy the rest of your day. I can't wait to watch you grow. Can't wait to talk to you next week.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I'm here every week, man. Y'all just let me know. I'll be right back.
Von Miller, ladies and gentlemen. Are we talking Von Miller every week?
Sounds like it.
All in.
We got to figure that out. That's huge. Von
He's a
Miller.
great spokesman for the league.
Oh, yeah.
Did
He
you
really
hear,
is.
Did you hear him just lay out the case there? Hey, we're always talking about player safety. We're going to be paying these guys $55 million. These are marquee names, okay? So business-wise, these are some big things that we maybe want to take care of a little bit, but also for the good of the game, same job can get done without having to, blindside. So it is like when you see the chip, and it's always going to be a part of football, and offensive linemen are probably not going to be fans if this gets taken out. It's like, oh, sorry, you get one play where you get a blindside on you or whatever. So I think there's always going to be those old school football people that are going to be tough to turn. But it is something like when you hear Von Miller say, like, we understand that this has to be a part of the game, but there's no reason for us to think that we're going to fucking blow our ACL every single time somebody goes in motion. Like, that's not what the game is anymore. I'm excited to see if there's any real change in that. It sounds like he has a compelling argument, AJ.
He does, yeah. I guess he's trying to say, I don't know how they would word the new rule, though. Hey, you can't say, like, yeah, I don't know how you – I agree with him. I think it's true. It's the only time when you're engaged with somebody and you're not looking that somebody can come and just smoke you from the side. Like they always say, like, break the ribs. That's what they tell those chippers to do. You got to break that dude's ribs or collapse his lung, whatever they used to say back in the day. But yeah,
like
you don't
10
need
years
to do
ago.
that.
Yeah. Back in the day,
Back
it's
in
like
the day.
10 years ago, 15 hears ago. Like, hey, you remember, he's going to be up. He's got that full, because he's got to rush next play too. You know, that whole
Collapse
thing.
his
Take him
fucking
out.
lung.
You cut off the head, the snake would die.
I was having because D-Butt and I were actually talking about it yesterday morning. Like, how do you fix that or whatever? I thought the same thing. As long as if you could make a rule easily that you can't go in with your shoulder or your head or body. Like, if you go in and you push a guy as hard as you can, you're not going to cause nearly as much damage as using your shoulder.
Well, so long snappers, right? And I don't know how many offensive linemen, we'll have to learn that through the season. Long snappers snap the ball, and then when they got somebody over top of them, they're taught, like, side of the body and hip.
Yeah.
You push somebody's hip. Basically, you push the hip like you're going to control the whole body. And all we're trying to do is get a punt off in 2 seconds. But I feel like that is something that could easily become very effective if you're coming in with a chip. But it's going to have to change the way football is done.